Hello and welcome back to the Healing Embodied podcast. This is your host, Chelsea Horton. And today I'm addressing another frequently asked question. And this question is probably asked by literally every single client or person who is interested in working with us or who does sign up to work with us or is curious about working with us. Every single person. So if every single person up until now has asked this question, then I can almost guarantee that you have this same question / fear. And drum roll, here it is. Brrr. The question is, what if I heal or I do this healing work and I find out that I have to leave my relationship, or I find out that all my fears and anxious thoughts are actually true? Let's take a minute with that. Yes, this is a highly emotional charged question that keeps a lot of people stuck and keeps a lot of people from moving forward in their relationship anxiety journey. And sometimes it sounds like, what if I, invest in this work and it doesn't work? What if I do this and I find some, dark, terrible truth about myself? What if I do this and I find out I'm the exception and it wasn't really relationship anxiety or OCD all along, and that it's like I'm the one that's terrible and messed up? It's some variation of something like that we tend to hear with people who are interested in doing this work. We've heard them all, and not one of these fears or questions surprises us because again, every single person has some variation of this question or this fear. And I want to peel back the layers of this question so you can really see what this fear, this question is really about. This question is simply just rooted in the fear of the unknown. Anxiety would rather have the predictability of suffering and the familiarity of suffering than the unfamiliarity or the uncertainty of anything else. To anxiety, what is familiar, what is known, is predictable, and what is predictable is safe. So, of course, anxiety is going to come up with the scariest thoughts to keep you from going into the unknown. Of course, it's going to come up with the worst possible case scenario and insert that into the unknown so that you don't do something unfamiliar and you don't do something different, so that you stay exactly where you are. Because anxiety is like, this is safe. We know this. Like, I've been here before, even though consciously I'm telling myself how horrible this is, at least I'm familiar with it. This question, this fear, is also rooted in the fear of feeling uncomfortable emotions. What anxiety does is it takes us away from what we're feeling in our body, tries to protect us from the potential of feeling uncomfortable emotions by keeping us in our head. Anxiety believes it's unsafe to be in your body and that it's unsafe to feel certain emotions. It's safer to just stay in your head and think of every worst case scenario so that you don't do something in which you might feel an uncomfortable emotion. For so long, anxiety has been trying to protect you from the potential of feeling grief, pain, shame, loss. And so anxiety knows that if you do this work, you're going to have to face those things. You're going to have to feel those things and process those things and look at those things and tend to those things. And anxiety has been doing a very, very good job for so long to make sure you never, ever feel grief, pain, shame, loss, all those things. When anxiety says, oh my gosh, what if this is the wrong relationship and you don't work out and you get divorced? What anxiety is really trying to protect you from is the possibility, the potential of feeling the emotion of grief. And guess what? Anxiety is doing the same thing here with this fear of, oh, what if I find out something terrible if I do this work? So of course, anxiety is going to throw out the most convincing reason in order to keep you from doing the work in which you would have to process those feelings. Anxiety says, if you do the work to feel these feelings, oh my God, it's going to be terrible and you're going to find out some horrible thing and everything you love is going to be ripped away from you. Anxiety keeps you in the familiar pain and suffering of overthinking, doubt, and control and protective mechanisms instead of taking the leap. Because what if I experience a different kind of pain and suffering that is somehow worse than the pain and suffering I'm feeling now? See it now? See what this fear, this question is really about. Paradoxically, there's a lot of comfort in the familiar, even when the familiar is uncomfortable. It's just another way that we stay stuck in our own suffering. But here's a spoiler alert, okay? Spoiler alert. Of all the people that we've worked with, we've never had someone say to us, what I learned, what I felt, what I discovered, what I found out about myself was worse than what I was already experiencing. No one has said that. Even the moments of the work where it's hard and emotional and they're facing their fears and they're processing deeply held pains that have been stored in their body for years. Even those moments, no one has said, wow, this feels worse than the prison of my mind. No one, not one person. Okay, spoiler alert. No one has come to us and said, I wish I hadn't done the work. I wish I would have stayed exactly where I was. No one has said that. Yeah, this work is challenging. You'll be entering into deeply painful emotions and uprooting shame and looking at all the beliefs you've held for so long and being like, wow, this belief doesn't work for me anymore. Everything that I thought, man, maybe that's not the full picture. And that's hard to do. But nobody has ever once said, wow, I wish I didn't know this about myself. I wish I hadn't discovered that. What people end up finding out is that they're stronger than they think. They're more capable than they think. They're more capable of experiencing love, connection, trust, and empowerment. They're more capable of meeting the ugliest parts of themselves with so much compassion. That's what they find out. Another spoiler alert. And here's the thing, all healing is risk. All of life is risk. But in order to learn how to take risks and be vulnerable in your relationship, this is what's required to be in deep, loving, committed relationship. You have to practice taking risks and being vulnerable through this work. The anxiety that keeps you from doing this work is the exact same anxiety that keeps you from being able to love fully and be present in your relationship. And here, if you don't believe me, if you don't believe that the things you'll find out in this work are only so beautiful, I want to encourage you to listen to some of our other podcast episodes where we interview our clients about their experience doing this work. We have an episode with Liz. We have an episode with Francisca. I think it's episode 13 with Liz and episode 16 with Francisca. And they have these exact same fears, and they go into so much detail about what it was that they discovered during this process and how it actually so greatly benefited their relationship, the relationship with their partner, and the relationship with themselves. So if you want to get more behind the scenes, if you want to peel back the curtain of, okay, what actually happens when I do this work, then I highly, highly recommend checking out those other podcast episodes. They're going to be so encouraging, inspiring, and empowering. It was so beautiful to have these conversations with these clients and to hear about their journey and their process and how doing this work actually set them free so that they could feel the confidence and the trust in themselves to be able to show up fully in their relationships. So if you're listening on the podcast, go check out episodes 13 and episode 16. And if you're watching this as a video, I'm going to link those episodes in the description. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you stumbled upon my little corner of the internet. I hope this episode was really enlightening and empowering and gave you that little fire under your ass to finally take action and to move forward in your journey instead of believing the lies of anxiety that say, if you step into the unknown, it's only going to be terrible. That's a lie. It's a total lie from anxiety. So go check out those other episodes. I hope you will feel more hope and empowerment. And I can't wait to chat with you next time.